they were about 5 years ago when they reached 2 straight Final Fours. UBC has had some very good teams with some disappointing efforts in the playoffs over the last couple of years, but it's safe to say that two of the best programs in the country are back to where they should be, which is near the top of the Canada West Conference. Vikes take the tip as fans continue to pile in to Carsa tonight, and with the near-capacity crowd, great to see the passionate fan bases from both UVic and UBC on hand in this game. And the Vikes get a hoop from Aiden Lejeune, who has decided to bring his hair back a little bit, going more with the buzz cut now in the second half of the season. Looking strong and tough out there, as well as a nice start to the game with a nice little bucket to start for the Vikes. And they get a stop on their first possession the other way. As we said, the Vikes pulled off a 9-point win on the road last Thursday night in Vancouver, an 82-73 victory. Matt Ellis, the story in that one, 39 points to help pace his team. Hayden Lejeune had 12 points in that one himself. Jason Scully with 11, Scott Kellum with 10. It was Jadon Cohee with 19 to lead the way for the Birds in that game, as Lejeune can't get his second attempt on the inside to go here. So it'll be returned to the Birds. Ball on the outside in the hands of Grant Adu. He's one of 4 T-Birds that comes into tonight's action in double figures. He's comes 13 points per game. Cohee leads the team in scoring with 18 and 6 assists. But it's Hayden Lejeune setting the pace for the Vikes in the early going tonight with a couple early baskets. It's 4-0 a minute and a half in. Strong take to the hole there from Jadon Cohee, the fifth-year product out of Langley. Will go to the line with the first shot, or first chance to get points on the board for the Birds here. UBC's women coming away with a 74-66 women in our 66 victory in our first game here this evening as they sweep away the Vikes this weekend in their home and home. UVic ladies falling to 7-7. Currently on a 5-game losing streak. They will hope to try and buck that trend next weekend when they play host to the Thompson River Wolfpack. Both the Vikes men and women will play their next 2 weekends here at UVic after this game tonight. 5 of their final 7 games here will be at Carsa. Lejeune from outside the three-point range. He's shown touch from the outside here in the early goings this season. And what's his 5th and final year with the program. Just like Christy Gallagher on the women's team, he chose to redshirt last season after obtaining an injury in the first weekend of play, and chose to defer to this season. And the Vikes are happy he's done so, because this is a very deep inside lineup for the Vikes as Jason Scully, the left-handed assassin, hits one from the outside. That was just inside the three-point line, so they're going to rule it at 2. Makes it a 6-2 game for the Vikes, 2.5 minutes in here. Good defense there by the Vikes. Kellum picks off the pass in transition, pulls up, can't get the shot to go, and it's rebounded by Manrup Clare. Another one of the leaders on this UBC team. He and Cohee, the 2 fifth-years. And as I was mentioning, Lejeune, he's the only 5th year on this year's Vikes squad. Supposed to be in his last year of eligibility last year, but as I mentioned, redshirted and holds the spot as the lone graduate for the Vikes. So he will likely be, as we see a tie up there with some extracurriculars. No love lost between these two teams as Tesfik Georgis and Zach Moore come up a little physical at the end of that altercation, but all good. Cooler heads do prevail. No more issues to report, and it'll be UBC ball on the jump. Ball swung baseline. Clare on the take. We'll see a push foul on the Vikes. So 14 seconds will go back on the shot clock, and we'll see our first Diego Mafia sighting for the Vikes here tonight. There's already the third team foul on the Vikes, so UBC only 2 away from bonus just 3 minutes in here. Big night for UVic here tonight. Not only do we see the rival T-Birds in town, but we'll also be having a ceremony at halftime of the men's game honoring the 2019 UVic Vikes men's rugby team who won the national championship. So another banner to raise here to the ceiling at Carsa. Tesvig Georgis into the star of Thursday night's game, Matt Ellis. Puts up his first shot of the night, doesn't go. Sure, the Birds will be keying on him tonight, the way that he was able to take it to them on Thursday. And then a tough first foul on Ellis as he picks up a hold as Grant Shepard, one of the stars on this UBC team. Grant Shepard, I believe, won the Cam West Rookie of the Year 3 seasons ago, the year after Scott Kellum took the honor for the Vikes. So 2 former Cam West Rookies of the Years going toe-to-toe out there tonight as three-pointer is dropped by Jadon Cohee, and it's a 6-5 game 4 minutes in. And there's a hold there that will keep possession for the Vikes. Claire with the foul on the Birds. First team foul against UBC. Ellis, again working down low, gets the hook to go. Vikes would love to see another big performance out of big Matt Ellis tonight, averaging 15 and 6 per game. And that was obviously heightened thanks to that outstanding performance on Thursday night. But it's Cohee with a second straight basket for the Birds as their leading scorer is a couple of hoops on the last 2 possessions. And Ellis wants it on the inside, goes around Grant Shepard, gets it to go. Starting to heat up yet again is Matt Ellis. And there's Diego Mafia getting in the passing lane. And we'll see some subs in for the Birds. As Trent Monkman will have an early entrance into the game for the Vikes. Looking to use him as a spark off the bench tonight. Taken finish there by Adu. Brings it to a 1-point game, 10-9 Vikes. Halfway through the first quarter, Mafia bringing the ball up for UVic. Scully gets it in the post. Turnaround, no good for Jason, and he'll add a foul to that missed shot afterwards as he tried to go after his own rebound, but nailed a T-Bird player in the back. 1-point game. Ryan Zabury back with you here on CanadaWest.tv. There's a couple shots coming now for the T-Birds. He tried to retake the lead, nearly going. It's Brian Wallach at the line, first year out of White Rock. Hits the first to tie it at 10. UBC had really dominated this rivalry over the last several years. Victoria native Connor Morgan seemed to have a penchant for coming back to his hometown and really taking it to the Vikes. But he's gone now, and this is a UVic team that looks a lot differently than they had in the last couple of seasons. And so you see a tie-up on the floor. Looks like it's going to be a foul called on the loose ball variety that's going to put UBC right back on the line as they're already in the bonus. 4.5 minutes left to go in this first quarter. Vikes can definitely be proud of a few signature victories already on their resume this season. Big win against Alberta here at Carsa back in November to a strong Golden Bears team this season. Another and another 2 strong performances that led to victories on the road the last couple of weeks, as they were able to steal a game in Saskatchewan against the Huskies, 94-74, a pretty decisive 20-point victory last Saturday night. And they followed that up as Mafia puts it on the floor, gets that hoop to go. We know him as a 3-point sniper, but he shows his prowess as a cutter there as well. And then, yeah, that 82-73 win on Thursday night as well. So Vikes can hang their hat on those 3 wins, but it would go even farther to pick up a clean sweep in this rivalry series against the Birds this weekend. And we'll let you know where all the teams stand in the standing. It's a very packed top of the conference in the Canada West this season. And Vikes still with some very good opponents upcoming in their next 2 home series, as Ellis gets the rebound underneath and is fouled as he tries to send it back out to Mafia on the wing. And we'll get the second team foul against UBC in this quarter. Monkman can't hit the 3 from the corner, and the Birds look to push the ball down a point. To do with it right now. Kicks it back out. 3 put up by Brown. Rims out, and rebounded there by McChesney. And the take in the other direction will be tipped off of the Vikes, and UBC will get it back. 3:21 to go in the first quarter. Justin McChesney will check out. Aiden Lejeune will check back in. And we'll see Jonah Morrison, Taiwan import for the T-Birds in his first season this year. Jumper drops there for Cohee, who has been having a good first quarter for his squad. Puts the Birds back up a point, 13-12. Lejeune gets it back out to Mafia. Diego cuts to the hole, rims out on the kiss, and now the T-Birds are away in the other direction. And that ball's going to hit off the rim and then drop in there for Jack Cruz-Demont. Another freshman out there for the T-Birds tonight. A couple new faces in this series. Lejeune with the shot clock running down for the Vikes. Tries to get it Ellis on the low post, and that's knocked away. Just a second left on the shot clock. Vikes are going to need to get something up right away. And we'll see Craig Beaucamp choose to use. Ryan Zommer back here with you on CanadaWest.tv, presented by Co-op. 2:16 left to go in the first quarter. It's a 15-12 UBC lead over the Vikes. T-Birds in town for their annual home and home. Foul called on the inbounds. So Vikes will be the benefactor there, as that was a shot clock with only a second left on it. Vikes were going to need to get something away real quick. UBC gifting them another 13 seconds on this possession. Scully takes it at the top. A little bit more time to work with. And he brings it in, but can't get the shot to go. And again, the T-Birds want to push the ball off the miss. And it's Jack Cruz-Demont with another basket in transition. Had a very similar looking play just a moment ago to put the T-Birds up. 6-0 run right now for UBC. Monkman tries to do a reverse layup there, but comes up short. And once again, UBC is pushing the ball. Cruz-Dumont, and he's got 7 points in the last 2 minutes as he's setting the pace for his team. And all of a sudden, it's a UBC 8-point advantage on this 9-0 run. Vikes need to finish this quarter strong, gain some momentum back if they can. As outside look there from Mafia, who kind of forced that one up. And now in transition, good job getting back there by Monkman. He got a piece of the ball so it wasn't deemed to be basket interference off of the backboard slap. And Jason Scully gets the basket in on the other direction. And has good defense on one end, leads offensive production on the other. Ball swung around. Cruz Dumont finally misses on this possession. And the Vikes get it back here. As they look to work their way back after going down by 8. Scully can't hit the 3 in the corner, but good job of retaining possession for the Vikes. Adding another 14 seconds. As Mafia holds on to it at the top. Offered a screen by Lejeune, and instead he is hammered there by Jonah Morrison as the 6'8" forward hits the better part of the 6'1" Mafia's face there, but incidental for sure. And now the Vikes can hold it for one final shot with just 12.5 seconds left in the quarter. Tessa Georgis gets it to Diego. Step back. Gets it to go. The sniper makes it a one-possession game. UBC, as the quarter expires, won't get a shot away. And that first 10 minutes living up to expectations. It's just a three-point game, 20-17. UBC went on a 9-0 run with about 2 minutes to go. Vikes ball to start the second quarter as they finish that first quarter with a bit of momentum. And Zach Murray back here on the call with you tonight. Vikes trying to pull off a rare sweep in their series with the UBC T-Birds over the last few seasons. 8 of the last 10 games have gone to UBC in this rivalry. Traditionally, these two teams have always played each other close when they know that it's such a big bragging rights to have this game on the season. It's always circled on both teams' schedules. 1 point game now, 20-19. Birds have it back. Jumper at the top of the key won't go. And rebounded by Matt Ellis, who had that big game on Thursday night. 39-point effort. Obviously, the top scoring performance of any Vikes so far this season. Mafia bringing the ball up. He, of course, knows what big scoring efforts are like. Had a 96-point game in high school last year with Oak Bay. Gained him a lot of reputation around the country, but he chose to stay right here in Victoria and play for his Vikes. And he puts the ball on Jason Scully's hands, who puts the Vikes back up by a point, 21-20. Just over a minute into this second quarter, so this is now a 9-0 run between the two quarters here, but that's finally ended there by Claire, who hits a jumper to put UBC back up by a point. So this lead has yo-yoed between the two teams already here tonight. About half a dozen lead changes already. Lejeune enforcing himself into the paint. Gets the ball up and in. Makes it a 1 point Vikes lead. Foul on the reach there, I believe, is going to go against Tessa Georgis. It's just the first on Aaron, though, tonight. And we'll see some subs in now for the Birds. Ball back to UVic. As it's Lejeune with it. Looking for someone to get it to. Gets it to Ellis back up at the top, but he travels. As UVic a little choppy on that possession. Nice take and finish there by Cohee. Puts UBC back up a point, 24-23. Ball turned over there by the Vikes in the front court, and Ellis comes up limping. Do not need to see that if you're a Vikes fan already without the services of Dom Oliveri here in this second half of the season. Vikes hope for Oliveri's return to the lineup come that final week of the year, possibly playoff time, but right now they're having to make do without his 11 points and 14 rebounds per game. He was leading the conference in rebounds when he went down at Christmas time. Cohee at the line now for UBC. He makes both, so it's a 3-point lead now. It's 26-23, 7:23 left in the first half. Aiden Lejeune remains the top scorer for the Vikes so far in this game with 8 points. Cohee, who just hit those last two from the line, now up to 13 to lead the way for his team. Scully trying to do a bit too much by himself there. Had 3 defenders draped on him, dribbles the ball off his foot. UBC's going to make him pay in the other direction as Manroob Clare drops a 3, makes it a 6-point UBC advantage. Now another 7-0 run for the T-Birds since the Vikes last took a 23-22 lead. Scully gets the 3. A little smoother possession this time from Jason. But UBC right back the other way and leaving Lincoln Rosebush open, the second-year player out of Guelph. Makes it a 31-26 game. Scully looking for his second straight 3. This one will rim out. Looks like there's a foul on the T-Birds here. That'll keep the ball in the Vikes' hands. 6:26 to go in the second quarter. Already the 4th foul against UBC, so much like the Vikes suffered in the first quarter. Vikes could be looking at some bonus opportunities down the stretch if they cause another foul against the T-Birds. Chesney from the corner won't fall. T-Birds get it back, down 5, or up 5, pardon me. Dew misses the 3. Rebounded there by Graham Hidlay, who pushes it up to Mafia. Back to Hidlay. Now to Trent Monkman. Three-pointer won't go there for Mafia. As Rosebush with the and one there. He's only checked in the early goings of this second quarter, but he's already made an impact. A couple of buckets, and he can make a 3-point play from the line here upcoming. Puts the Birds up by 8, 34-26, 5:35 left in the first half. Graham Hidlay looking to go baseline, kicks it over to Mafia. Ooh, a little dribbling effort there by Diego. Swung back around to Graham Hidlay, who's really brought his shooting game up in this second half of the season. Graham obviously provides a lot of spark on defense and in the grit game for the Vikes, but stepping up big time when it comes to shooting in this second half tonight, or this season. And we have a stoppage after that play, and they're going to initially call that a 3, but I believe the officials are going to come together and determine that it was a 2-point basket. Saw the referee Sean Porter had a good angle on that, and he makes the correct call and make sure it's done right away, not to get the coaches stirred up, so good job by him there. Less than halfway left in this second quarter as Vikes hold the ball down 7. UBC really shooting at a high clip in this second quarter, so the Vikes need to try and find their offensive game as well. Ellis can't hit the 3 as the shot clock expires. McChesney the last one to touch it. Ball back to UBC, and Coach Beaucamp is going to use a timeout now for the Vikes as we'll take a break on CanadaWest.tv. Victoria, 4:37 left in the second quarter. Have a packed house here tonight. Definitely the best crowd we've seen at UVic this season. And no surprise, it's the rival T-Birds in town. Always bring some fans of their own over from the mainland. Right now they lead it 36-29 as they try and split the season series, as UVic stole a road win against the Birds in Vancouver, 82-73 Thursday night. Chuck up a point for the Vikes men on the Legends Cup Series. Second year of that tournament now between the two programs. And Ellis parked out in the key a little bit too long there. Is going to give the ball back to UBC. UBC got a couple early fouls in this quarter, but have stayed clean the last few minutes, so the Vikes have yet to cash in on some free throws from that. And nice steal there by Scott Kellum, who anticipated that cross-court pass. See if the Vikes can take advantage of it on the offensive end. Lejeune. Mafia steps back, hits the 3. Diego brings it to a 4-point game, 36-32. He is so dangerous off the dribble and shows why there as he moves up to 8 points on the night to Ty Lejeune for the team lead. Missed that time as the Birds come back down the court. Just over 3 minutes left, up 4. Adu nearly has that slapped away from Graham Hidlay. And Graham looked like he might have been able to draw a charge there, but they're going to deem no call either way. Ball out of bounds. Vikes get it back. 3:01 to go. Jason Scully's going to return to game now for UVic. He'll take out Scotty Kellum. Diego Mafia thought it might be him, but they were just redirecting to the backcourt, so he's going to play point guard now in this upcoming set. Kind of rotated between the 1, 2, and 3 positions for the Vikes at points this season. He's only listed as 6'1", so that wing position usually used obviously as a shooter spot, which is of course what Diego brings to the team. Ball worked around as Matt Ellis is going to pick up another foul there. And let's see how many he has now. Is that his second or third? I know he had one in that first quarter. .237 left in the first half. Ryan Zatmary back with you here on CanadaWest.tv. UBC inbounds the ball. Still holding a 4-point lead in this second quarter. It's been pretty much close all the way through this first half. Miss underneath there by Zach Moore. Returns the ball to the Vikes. as they continue to battle hard with the T-Birds here as they look to try and pick up their third consecutive victory, all of which have come against good teams. Is a little bit of a weaker first half of the schedule for the Vikes that allowed them to get up to a 8-2 record, as we see a jumper made there by Clare, has now followed with some very tough opponents for the last 2 weeks and the next 2 weeks upcoming, as after this game tonight they'll remain at home for the next 4 games, but it'll be against a strong team from Thompson Rivers and then a resurgent Manitoba program at 11-1 coming into the weekend, as a hoop underneath there again by Clare puts UBC up by 8, tied for their largest lead of the night again. Heidley from the corner, rims out, and now UBC with a chance to go up by double digits. As they work it around, Clare misses this one, and the Vikes now slow it down as we close in on the final minute of this first half. Scully receives the contact, but not able to get the floater to go. T-Birds push the floor again. They seem to want to move it quickly off of Vikes misses, and that's a 6-0 run since the last time out. That was Taylor Brown with a basket there, and Craig Boak. .9 seconds remain in the first half. Just as it happened in the first quarter, UVic has allowed the T-Birds to go on a bit of a run to now have a chance to try and make up some ground down the stretch, and they'll send Diego Mafia to the foul line after that last play. Vikes did go on a 5-0 run to end the first quarter to bring it back to a 3-point game after UBC went ahead by 8, so let's see what they can do now in this second. Diego can get into double-digit scoring in the first half with a second free throw make here. Can't get it to go, though, so he'll remain at 9, tied with Jason Scully for the team lead. As UBC works it down, now up 9. Nice take and finish there by Cohee, as he has been the leading scorer for his team in the first half, now with 15. Scully. Monkman tries to force a pass into McChesney that wasn't there, and UBC, with the shot clock now dead, can hold it for one final shot, up 11. Cohee holds it at the top. Moves it into Scully, kicks it out, and that jumper at the death will really put a exclamation mark on what was an outstanding second quarter for the T-Birds. Back here with you on CanadaWest.tv, presented by Co-op. It's Ryan Zatmary on the call this evening. UBC leads UVic 47-33 at half of the men's game, trying to salvage a weekend split in the home and home with the Vikes after dropping 82-73 on Thursday night at War Memorial in Vancouver. And miss off of the first take in the second half by the Birds gives the Vikes the ball back. And they foul on the first possession for the Vikes. We'll keep the ball on the baseline with 16 to shoot. It was a big second quarter for the T-Birds, in which they put up 27 points and only allowed 16 for the Vikes. But there's Matt Ellis, who they might need to have another big second half, as he did in Thursday's opener against the Birds. He's now up to 6 points, just 2 hoops. Both came in the early going of the first quarter, as he was held in check for the most part in that first half, as that was a far too easy hoop to the hole there by Adu to put UBC back up by 14, 49-37. 49-35, pardon me. And a turnover gives the ball back to the Birds. And they look to run the floor. And we'll have an offensive foul called there on Adu as he goes right through Aaron Tesfagiorgis. And good call there by the Vikes, or by the officials that will benefit the Vikes. Scully in the paint, but can't find Lejeune, so UBC unscathed again, even after that charge. Vikes are going to need to make some stops in this third quarter and hope for some benefits on the offensive side of the ball. Lejeune backing down his defender. Can't get the roll there, though. Gets a second chance, however. But I believe he's going to travel before anything else takes place. So Vikes still can't seem to find their offensive groove in the second half just yet. Both teams with just a basket each, 2+ minutes in. Again, Lejeune trying to back down his defender, Zach Moore. As Claire picks up the foul there. That's already the third team foul against the T-Birds in the third quarter. Vikes were able to gain a couple of fouls against the Birds in the second quarter, but really weren't able to get many down the stretch to allow for some free throws, but if the Vikes can get their three-point shooting game going, that could really help as Scotty Kellum puts in a tray, makes it an 11-point game. Birds move the ball well around the outside, though, and that's another hit for Claire as he reopens a 14-point advantage. They're going to say that was a long two, I believe, so it's just a 13-point game, 51-38. Tesfagiorgis claims the ball for the Vikes after almost turning it over. Kellum looking for his second straight three. No good, but there to collect the rebound is Ellis. Call that a de facto assist from Scott Kellum, despite obviously taking what looked to be a shot there. Good defense in the post, and that's a travel on Zach Moore. That gives the ball back to the Vikes. Get within single digits on this possession. McChesney will take out Lejeune, and Mafia will take out Tesfagiorgis on this upcoming sequence. Kellum nearly loses the ball as Adu's draped all over him. Another step back three take there by Kellum. Gets it to go, and Scott wants the crowd pumped up. He's got the men's rugby team who just got their championship banner at halftime going in the front row. 8-point game, 6 to go in the third quarter. Nice up and under there in the paint by Cohee as he's up to 17 points, leading all scorers on the floor here so far tonight. And that foul We'll put 4 against the T-Birds, so next one will lead to shots for the Vikes. Take there by Scully, hard to the hole. Back to an 8-point game. Brown with it now for the T-Birds. The Vikes have battled their way back into this one. Obviously wanting to save their best basketball for the fourth quarter. Cruz Dumont, who came in and had that great sequence at the beginning of the second quarter to help put the T-Birds ahead, now moves to 9 points in the game. Miss there from Diego from the outside, keeps it a 10-point UBC advantage. They get the ball back. Three-pointer is no good by Grant Shepard. Have not heard much of Grant Shepard in this game tonight. He has been held completely off the scoreboard, and in fact, that was just his second field goal attempt. He's played 17 minutes, but he's played more of a decoy role out there so far this evening. 4:52 left in the third quarter of the second half of a home-and-home series with the UBC T-Birds and the UVic Vikes men's programs. It's a 10-point lead, 55-45 for UBC after falling 82-73 at home Thursday night. UBC is 8-2 in their last 10 against the Vikes. Would love to put another win on the board to move to 12-4, and that'll help as a 3 there for Taylor Brown off the timeout puts them back up by 13. Vikes need to get their hands out and contest some of these outside looks. There's been too many open shots for the T-Birds for the better part of this game. Mafia can't hit. McChesney, though, gets the rebound. Gets it back out to Kellum with 2 threes already in this quarter. Make that 3. Back to a 10-point contest. Good movement there by the T-Birds, but off in on the shot by Cruz Dumont, so the Vikes get it back. Again, trying to bring this deficit back to within single digits. Matt Ellis, nice footwork there. Not able to get a clean look off, and now the T-Birds want to run again. Cruz Dumont, far too easy to go coast to coast there. Nobody stepped in his lane, and he gets into double digits with that basket, equaling his playing number at 11. Less than 4 to go, third quarter. Birds up 12. We'll give you some scores from around the conference as well as the up-to-date schedule or standings in the Canada West in a few minutes' time here as that ball knocked away after the turnover. It'll be UBC ball with 21 seconds on the shot clock coming back as Tesfagiorgis and Lejeune will check in for Scully and McChesney. Three-pointer at the top won't go, and Hayden Lejeune picks up the board. Vikes come down the floor. Still down a dozen. With a little bit more oomph in their offensive game, spurred on by some hot shooting by Scott Kellum in this third quarter. Hayden Lejeune misses the outside shot, and we see a little bit of reverse rolls there from Lejeune and Diego Mafia. Usually it's Mafia shooting from the outside, Lejeune rebounding on the inside, but we had the reverse happen there as Diego picks up the rebound and is fouled on the putback, so he will go to the line. Good effort by him defensively underneath, as the Vikes have stayed clean on the foul game in this quarter, and now again find themselves at the line with a chance to get closer. They're still going to need to make some stops against this always productive shooting UBC team. Ooh, that's a beautiful play. And they finally get Grant Shepard involved offensively. An emphatic dunk there. his first basket of the night. Kellum looking for his fourth tray. Can't go. The Birds seem to want to push the floor every time the Vikes miss. And we've seen a lot of their success on the floor come tonight in the transition game. Just over 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Clock has continued to move quickly here. There's Ellis. 8 points on the night. Nowhere near the production we saw on Thursday, 39 points. Didn't expect a 39-point game, but the Vikes will definitely need him to be a factor in the fourth quarter if they're to make a comeback tonight. Shepard kicks it over. Another three is taken and hit by Cohee. Now up to 21 points on the evening. Got to get a hand in his face. He's had success from pretty much anywhere on the floor when he's taking shots. And foul called there. We'll send Lejeune to the line. He's on the floor, but the Vikes are in bonus, so they will get shots upcoming. Vikes remain down by 13, but would not call them out of this by any stretch just yet. This is a team that's had some very good shooting nights, but I think it's more defensively what they're going to need to figure out here tonight, and a way to hold up that transition game against the T-Birds, as they have pretty much at will been able to move the ball up the court on Vikes misses and have success as they look to do it again here now. They do pull up eventually, though. Cohee kicks it back out, worked around the top. Claire with it now. Nice movement. And finally, we'll see the first foul of the quarter against the Vikes. Likely 2 shots coming now for the T-Birds, who can extend their lead to 15 if they make here now. Make on the first, miss on the second for Cruz Dumont. Or pardon me, Brian Wallach. So it's a 14-point game. Back to the same separation we saw at halftime. Another miss from Mafia, who's had just the lone three-pointer tonight. Or pardon me, 2. He's made 2, but has not had one go in the second half. Take by Cohee, as he has been a killer on the floor tonight for UBC. And the Vikes, who had this down to 8 points at one point in this third quarter, now find themselves down by 16. Really digging a hole for themselves in that final 10 minutes. As another miss has left them without any momentum heading into the final quarter. They're going to need to create it in that final 10 minutes as UBC holds for one final shot here. As they already hold their largest lead of the night now. Jumper at the death. Won't go. And we'll head to that final 10 minutes with UBC firmly in control, 68-52. UVic is really going to need to come up with some solutions quickly if they want to try and win their .TV as we head to the fourth quarter. The UVic Vikes trail the UBC T-Birds 68-52 in men's Canada West basketball action. UBC shooting a scorching 58% from the field tonight. 6 of 16 from beyond the arc. Vikes shooting at just a 42% clip, which is not usually all that bad, but when your opponents are shooting nearly 60, you'll likely have some troubles. As Hayden Lejeune causes a foul to start the fourth quarter. 24 points off the bench for the T-Birds here tonight. As we've seen both Jack Cruz Dumont and couple of other contributors play some quality minutes off the bench. Brent Shepard has been held to just 2 points, despite the fact he averages 16 a game in the season, but hasn't seemed to matter thus far for UBC, who still lead it by double digits early on in the fourth. Swung to the corner, missed there by Claire, but UBC fights for the rebound, gets it, and that's put in there by Jonah Morrison, back to a 16-point game. Scotty Kellum puts up his fourth three of the second half, and now has his fan base getting behind him here. As this Vikes crowd would love to see one last push at a run in this fourth quarter. Best crowd of the season on hand, but they have not been able to find any answers for Cohee tonight, as he has put in quite an evening from the floor. Over 20 points now. 15-point game, 8:35 left. There's Scully, and Jason, who comes in as one of the top three-point shooting performers in the conference, hasn't been able to find a rhythm on the outside tonight, not at least the way Cohee has, as they've been matched up against each other. Nice rejection there from Scully from behind, though. Vikes push it up the court. Still wanting to find somebody else other than Scott Kellum to get hot. Mafia, who himself has not found any success in the second half tonight. Ellis hits the jumper, top of the key. 13-point game, less than 8 to go. Ball swung to the corner. That's missed, but offensive rebound there, but it is stolen away. Scott Kellum in transition, takes it in himself, can't get it to go, and rebounded by UBC. Bucks are going to have to make all of their turnovers and hustle points count here in this final quarter. Cohee holds the ball at the top. Another open look for him. This one will fall short, but another offensive rebound. The Vikes just not putting enough of a body on a man here in this second half. And another three-point shot will fall. Nearly turned over there, as it was a good hustle play there by Taylor Brown. Vikes pull the ball up court, down 13. Ellis. Nice turnaround as he's starting to heat up. And Coach Evan Hansen wants to talk with his fellas. 6:30 to go. It's an 11-point game. The time for the Vikes to strike is nigh. Otherwise, looks like the T-Birds might be able to go back to so in the Manitoba Capital today. UBC Okanagan with an 84-78 win over UMBC. It was another game that the Vikes would have interest in. Thompson Rivers winning 73-67 over the Brandon Bobcats. Golden Bears of Alberta beat Grant MacEwan 85-53 in the Battle of Edmonton. And Lethbridge with a 108-79 win over Mount Royal. One game left in the weekend on the conference will be Manitoba and Saskatchewan in a rematch of their game tomorrow in Winnipeg. And that game is worth keeping an eye on if you're a Vikes fan, as Grant Shepard gets a basket off of that timeout. As the Manitoba Bisons now move to 12-1 on the season. Much like the Vikes, they had a very easy first part of their schedule, but a finish there for Kellum provides a bit of momentum for the Vikes. So now basically for UVic, who sits at 10-3 in the conference, good for 6th right now. The wins by Thompson River and Manitoba jettison them into the top 4 in the Canada West. And again, it's the top 4 that will secure a bye that first weekend of the playoffs February 14th through 16th. And then the top 2 teams will then host the Canada West quarters and semis the second weekend. Right now, the Vikes sit with a possible first-round playoff home date, as a long 3 there by Claire silences the Vikes crowd right as they got amped up after the shot made by Kellum. So for the Vikes, though, they will have a chance to possibly gain some, as Ellis has an open look inside, looking for a dunk that just rims out. But their next 2 home weekends will be against the Thompson River Wolfpack next weekend, Friday, January 24th and Saturday 25th. And then the final home weekend of the year will be Seniors Weekend, as January 31st and February 1st we'll see the Manitoba Bisons come to town. Those games will have huge implications on the Canada West playoffs and where the team stands. So again, still lots left on the line in the Canada West standings. Check out CanadaWest.org for all the schedules, scores, and up-to-date standings, as the final 3 weekends of the season should provide some great chaos. Following that weekend against Manitoba, the Vikes will close out their Canada West schedule against the Trinity Western Spartans in Vancouver, a team that comes into the weekend at just 2-11. So there's a good chance for the Vikes to finish the year strong, but you know that they would love to pick up a couple of victories here at home against those 2 strong programs in Thompson Rivers and Manitoba, and possibly pick up some ground in the race for the Canada West playoffs, as it appears increasingly more like they might split this series with UBC this weekend. But considering that UBC and Saskatchewan both came in as 2 of those top 4 teams in the conference, the Vikes have to be happy with the way that they've played these last 2 weekends, though you never like to lose at home, but that was a huge victory on Thursday, and they can be happy with themselves. But it might not be over just yet, as Diego Mafia hits there to bring them with 10. So, and there's a near turnover. There's a bit of a lapse in judgment there by the backcourt of UBC. Nearly cost them. That would have really provided a spark for the Vikes fan base here, who are still very much alive and loud here. As the shot clock running down, as Claire holds it, there's been an ISO possession, and he's not going to get a shot off. So all of a sudden here, with 3:37 to go, it's a 10-point game. Scully checks back in for Ellis, and the Vikes now get the ball back. And if they can hit another shot or 2 and create a stop, we may still have an exciting finish at Carsa. Morrison checks in favor of Wallach now. One freshman for another. Scully can't get the 3 to go. Looked like it was down and popped back out. That's not the hometown roll we're accustomed to. The T-Birds still lead it by 10, and now they look poised to try and drain as much clock on these possessions as they can. And they're going to whistle that for the foul prior to the over and back by Cohee, as that'll be a 3rd team foul on you, Vic. We're going to need the mop kids to come out and help clean that floor after Jadon Cohee took a spill there at midcourt. Getting some love from the fan base here at Carson. .310 to go, 10 on the shot clock. Vikes cannot really allow many more opportunities with UBC up by 10. Nice stop, but then there's a second chance for Shepherd, who after scoring 0 through about 28 minutes tonight, has had a couple baskets in this final quarter to help his team. Scully, another 3-point attempt. That one will drop. Less than a 10-point game, 79-70. And now the press is on for the Vikes, who are in near desperation mode. That's for Georges. Jadon Cohee. Cohee gets a screen from Shepard. Cohee's going to take it in himself. Kiss off the glass and one as he puts UBC back up by 11. And he seems to be the player of the game in my book, as he has shot the lights out for his team tonight. And every time they seem to need a basket, he has been right there to provide it for them. It's the free throw to go as well, so it's a dozen-point game as UVic now needs to keep shooting the lights out down the stretch. Miss there by Kellum won't help.
2 minutes left in regulation time.
UBC melting this clock away now, and we'll get a foul called on Tesfik Georges as Grant Shepard, who hasn't put up his usual 16 and 7 type numbers tonight, has still provided some important playing in the latter minutes here tonight, as his team is poised to move to 12 and 4 on the season. But a 27.7 assist performance tonight from Jadon Cohee, as he was 10 of 13 from the field. Just an outstanding performance from him. 14-point game, minute 45 to go. Very little hope left if you're a Vikes inbound the ball as they're down by 14. Mafia puts up the quick trade. That won't go. Tesfik Georges with the rebound. Kellum looking for his 5th three of the second half. Won't go. Another offensive board, though. And there's a proper dunk from Matt Ellis, who wasn't able to complete one of those a few minutes back. As the Vikes now just trying to make it respectable, as they will drop their 4th game on the season, fall to 10 and 4. UBC still with a bye to go in their final 3 weeks, as they have the same number of losses at 4, but 2 more games played, so that 12 and 4 record. A couple games better than the Vikes right now, but judging how the last few games of the season go, there's a chance that these two teams could still meet in the playoffs. And another basket there for Diego. And the way that they played here tonight, despite the fact that the T-Birds led for the better part of the second half, it was a pretty close game in that first half, and the Vikes, of course, won on Thursday, so would not hate seeing these two rivals go head-to-head for a 3rd time in the playoffs this year. That would be great to see, but for now, we'll have to deal with a split, but we very well could see a tie-breaking 3rd game come later on in February during the Canada West playoffs. A couple of more points added to the total of Cohee. And we have a stoppage for a game clock malfunction. Great to see the pageantry back at Carsa, though, tonight. Obviously, Vikes putting together one of their best seasons on the men's side since they moved into Carsa. Basically, this has been the best team we've seen since moving over from McKinnon. Last 2 teams that played in the McKinnon Gymnasium went to the Final Four in the old CIS, now U Sports. Of course, winning their last Canada West Championship in that final year, 2015. Terrell Evans and Chris McLaughlin and company picking up that title. And of course, the Vikes would love to get back to that level again, and it's going to be their performance against teams like the Saskatchewans and Albertas and UBCs, and beating those programs with their pedigree that's going to help the Vikes elevate back to that level. And despite the loss here tonight, their split of these last two series is against the Huskies and the T-Birds shows growth in a team that's definitely been rebuilding these last couple of years, but you have to like what we've seen at points in time from the Vikes program here this season. One more timeout on the floor. Ryan Zamery back one more time on CanadaWest.tv, presented by Co-op. T-Birds look like they're going to gain a split here this weekend against the Vikes, each team picking up a victory on the road. The Vikes ladies dropping one earlier on tonight, 74-66. So UBC with bragging rights on this night as Diego Mafia drops another tray down the stretch. He's had a couple of hoops to help pad his stats in the waning minutes. Birds get the ball in, up 10. Vikes still attempting one last gasp at a press here to help provide last kick at the can. Miss there. They'll get the ball back. Mafia. Step back three. Falls short. And at this point, I think the Vikes will let the clock run down as UBC picks up an 87-77 victory. They improved to 12-4 on the season. Vikes dropped to 10-4, and they'll get back at it this next weekend right here at Carsa as they'll continue their 5-game homestand to end their home season. Next up, the Thompson River Wolfpack, who will